Last time, in issue number 8, the world trembled as Victor Von Doom, now ruling as the unquestioned Emperor of Earth, stood against an uprising led by the heroes who refused to submit. In the chaos of battle, one tragedy changed everything. Valeria Richards, Doom's goddaughter, and the one person he cared for above all others, fell. Her death shattered the man the world feared. The unbreakable king finally broke, and in his grief, the kind that burns hotter than any power on earth, Doom made a promise. No matter the cost, Doom will save you. Now, with the world collapsing and time running out, Doom begins the most dangerous journey any mortal has ever attempted, challenging gods, reality, and fate itself, all for one lost soul. Welcome to Chapter 9, The White Sail of Her Soul, a story not about conquest or power, but about love, loss, and the price of miracles. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, because your one subscription motivates us to create more amazing videos like this. Now, let's dive into issue number 9. A comic opens with a memory. Soft, glowing, and impossibly warm compared to the world we just left burning. Dr. Doom stands over an infant Valeria Richards, cradling her carefully, speaking with solemn power. I place you under my royal protection, little Valeria. If anyone is ever foolish enough to strike at you, they will deal with me. A glowing symbol appears beneath the narration box. This is a love story. We shift to time. A young Valeria walking proudly beside Doom as he leads her through Latveria. The narration continues. It's about a great king who never allowed anyone to touch his heart. Doom, speaking like a law of nature, declares, here in Latveria Richards, Doom demands that children always get a good night's sleep. Little Valeria waves. Hi, Mom! The pages flicker again. A slightly older Valeria at a console. Doom behind her like a silent guardian. Finish up here, child. Can we have ice cream later? Doom will consider your request. The narration overlays, and his goddaughter, who claimed it so easily, gracefully, that he never once noticed it happening. Now we see Valeria much older, smiling warmly up at Doom's armored hand, resting on her shoulder. Does your father know where you are, young lady? Actually, he's why I'm here. And what has he done now? The voiceover continues like scripture. The great king protected his goddaughter. He cared for her and taught her things her parents could not. Another flash. Silhouettes at sunset. Doom kneeling beside her. You must promise me, child. You must stay free from harm. I promise, Uncle Doom. Final panel. Present time. Valeria, bleeding, broken, leaning forward and pressing her forehead to Doom's metal mask. Tears and light blur together. And across the entire cosmos, she was the only one who was, to him, special. And across the entire cosmos, he was the only one who was, to her, special too. Smek, a soft kiss against cold steel. Our comic erupts back into the present. Not memory, but agony. Green energy explodes outward like a storm, ripping the world apart. Dr. Doom stands over Valeria's lifeless body, his armor splitting open, raw cosmic power tearing through him. His head lifts to the burning sky, and his voice cracks with a pain he has never allowed himself to show. No, Valeria, no. The ground shatters under him. Light streams from his chest in violent, spiraling arcs. Grief turning into a cataclysm. Valeria lies still in the ash and fire, eyes closed, blood pooling beneath her. The narration cuts sharp and merciless. And when his goddaughter died, the great king, the man who never allowed anyone to touch, broke forever. The page title burns across the bottom, glowing like an obituary carved in flame. Chapter 9, The White Sail of Her Soul. The world holds its breath. A god has lost the only thing he ever loved. Everything dissolves into white. Smoke, clouds, memory, or perhaps the threshold between life and death itself. Dr. Doom stands alone in the glowing mist, his cape drifting weightlessly behind him. His voice shakes, quiet and human. I'm too old for fairy tales. From the haze, another voice replies, calm, steady, determined. I know, but stories have power, and at present, the shapes in the mist begin to form. A girl's silhouette emerging from the light. It is Valeria, floating barefoot in a dreamlike void, suspended between existence and oblivion. Doom steps forward, reaching toward her as the words echo around them, like magic binding reality together. Stories, Valeria, are the only thing holding your body and soul together. Valeria lowers her head, processing the impossible. I see. She lifts her gaze, eyes glowing faintly. Alive, but barely. What happened next? She's asking for the story that'll decide whether she returns or fades. The world waits. The narration cuts sharply above the battlefield, brutal and honest. The great king did all that he could, but he could not save her. He could not change the past. Dr. Doom kneels beside Valeria's body, grabbing her hand with shaking gauntlets, refusing to accept reality. Doom does not permit this, little one. Do you hear me? He tries to lift her, magic burning and crackling violently around his hands, glowing green energy flooding through her chest. BKK. His voice grows harsher, more desperate. Doom does not permit it. The narration presses down like a hammer. In fact, he could not change anything. Valeria's body lies limp, unmoving. Her head falls to the side, skin pale, breath gone. Her body was rotting, and her soul was gone. Below, Reed Richards screams in terror, reaching toward them, powerless to stop anything. Sue collapses behind him, eyes wide with horror. Doom cradles Valeria tightly against his chest as flames devour the world around them, unwilling to let go. Even when everything is already lost, energy tears across the page with a deafening zzz, rippling reality apart. Doom carries Valeria's body into blinding white light as narration resumes like myth spoken around the fire. And so the great king voyaged to places mortals were never meant to go. Columns of burning cosmic light appear, portals carved open by Doom's will. He breached the home and refuge of the gods who called themselves the Vishanti. Doom stands before their celestial domain, undaunted. The narration continues. They had extraordinary powers over life and death. They could choose, if they wanted, to fix a mistake. But the gods, ancient, expressionless, eyes glowing like suns, offer no compassion. But these beings, tremendous and powerful, spoke only of pity and of consequences. 3 towering figures stared down at Doom. A woman with burning eyes, a cold blue-faced entity, and a cosmic tiger spirit. They refused to hear what the king was saying. Below, Doom reaches out, desperate fury fueling every motion as green power lashes outward, cracking reality itself. And so the great king forced them to listen. The mist swirls, the universe trembles, and Doom declares war against gods. The page erupts in blinding, violent green energy as Doom battles forces beyond mortal comprehension. Narration cuts through the chaos. The king had used all his earthly magic. But here, among the Vishanti, there were different rules. Panels shatter like glass, the rules of reality cracking apart. Different magics. Doom, suspended in a storm of raw cosmic power, screams with absolute fury. The narration deepens. Here, there was magic powered by emotion. Doom, voice shaking with rage and grief. Will heed. And the great king had an infinite supply of that. The power surges, the page nearly exploding off the paper. Phew! And Doom roars the only phrase that matters, a sentence turned into a weapon. The words. Blinding white and green consumes the frame. Of Doom, his grief becomes sorcery. His anguish becomes fire. His love becomes the force that rewrites gods. The cosmic journey escalates beyond comprehension. Doom pushes past the shattered remains of the Vishanti, gods who refused him. But still, the Vishanti would not listen, nor heed, nor obey. So the narration burns forward. So the great king sought better gods, stronger gods. Panels stretch across the vastness of space. Doom carried through impossible dimensions, across blazing voids that melt existence itself. He traveled through yawning voids, through rooms white hot, until finally, in blinding gold light, he stands before the supreme judgment of the Marvel Universe, the living tribunal. Its voice thunders through eternity. Who dares disturb us? Who dares disturb the living tribunal? Doom kneels, clutching Valeria's lifeless body, refusing to break. Doom dares, tribunal. This is Valeria Richards, and she has died, and I require it to be otherwise. He stands, unbowed, unbroken, immortal before the might of creation itself. I will offer you anything you desire. And the narration concludes. The great king bargained. The universe holds its breath. Stop. The stage is set. Doom stands suspended in golden cosmic radiance before the living tribunal, a god who weighs the balance of the entire multiverse. The tribunal speaks in thunderous judgment. Bargains carry terrible costs, but one cannot bargain without anything to offer. And you, Doom, have nothing. But Doom does not flinch. His voice cuts through eternity. No, if one seeks justice, tribunal, then one always has something to offer. A more just universe. The tribunal stares down, piercing Doom's soul. Perhaps, Victor, but you do not seek justice. You seek the assuagement of guilt and not to suffer. Doom hesitates, but only for a breath. Yes, I desire those things, as all who live do. But today, I seek more. The cosmic flame glows brighter, wrapping Doom in a burning green aura. On this occasion, Tribunal, Doom will hide nothing from you. Just this once, he lifts his head, unmasked emotionally if not physically. Doom demands to be fully seen. And with that, from the most prideful man in existence, comes the most humble plea. A blinding wash of white and cyan tears across the page, dissolving form and armor into raw emotion. Doom's soul is laid bare, not through words, but through pure cosmic truth. The narration rises, and so the Tribunal, who could destroy the Great King with less than a thought, looked into his soul. The spectral figure of Doom is torn apart into radiant fragments. In that devastating torrent, the Tribunal saw what they expected to see: the rage, the guilt, the regret, the wild ambition wildly achieved. Pieces of him swirl, disintegrating, but something remains. But they also saw something never seen in the Great King before. Silhouette and light converge around the image of Valeria. The living Tribunal saw love. They saw that the king had truly come not for himself, but for his goddaughter. Her form appears beneath him, cradled in eternal stillness. To love someone is to put their well-being above your own, and the Tribunal knew that to see such a thing, in such a thing, was unexpected. The final word lands like the sound of a gavel striking cosmic stone. And meritorious. The universe itself holds its breath. The void glows brighter, and the cosmic winds settle. Doom and Valeria stand suspended between worlds. One returning to life, one already condemned. The narration speaks with solemn weight, and thus, just this once, the living Tribunal granted the Great King his desire. Doom raises his hand, voice steady, absolute. You're gonna live, Valeria. You're gonna live. Valeria steps closer, confused, afraid. No, Uncle, you told me everything has a cost, and the Tribunal must have extracted some terrible shit. Doom does not hesitate. There is a cost. Of course there is. I will pay it. Valeria pushes on, desperate. You've lost the title of Sorcerer Supreme, I can see that. But there's gotta be more. Please, Uncle Doom, tell me what this cost. Doom's form begins to dissolve into brilliant green light. He speaks his final truth. Your soul will go back where it belongs, and your body will be restored. What it costs is irrelevant. You will return to Latveria. A thunderous explosion of emerald energy erupts. Cocoon! And Doom, only Doom, will deal with the consequences. And he's gone. A blinding emerald explosion tears through the flames. Krakoom! And Valeria collapses forward onto the shattered ground, gasping desperately for air. Her eyes snap open. She's alive. The Fantastic Four rush toward her, disbelief mixing with overwhelming relief. Sue collapses to her knees. Oh my God, Valeria. Ben leans in, voice shaking. You're okay? Reed stares, stunned, unable to process what he's seeing. Valeria steadies herself, breath trembling. I am. What happened? How did you, what did he? Her voice breaks as she looks up at her father. He did what he promised he'd do. To all of us, Dad, right at the start of this. Doom pulls her into a desperate embrace. Reed joining with shaking hands, and Valeria whispers the truth. The only truth that matters now. Doom saved me. The flames crackle around him. But for the first time since this war began, there is peace. The world trembles in the aftermath of Doom's disappearance. News anchors across the globe struggle to make sense of the chaos now unfolding. A stern-faced broadcaster speaks urgently as headlines flash beneath him. Doom continues to feel the effects of Doom's shocking disappearance and apparent abdication of his global throne. A banner scrolls. America claims second independence, claiming victory. The world's heroes move quickly to... Another reporter appears. Voice shaky but resolute. Pre-recorded message, Doom released a cure for vampirism, but regretted still greater miracles could only be achieved if he were again restored to power. Only Doom could save you, he said. And only Doom will save you once more. Kill you? Lower caption. Australia freed from Doom. A third voice broadcast with static interference. Borders have been closed as world leaders, claiming they were influenced by some form of Doom mind control, try to unwind his influence. The Avengers, of course, have been silent as to whether this was actually... Headline: Threats and Menaces is back on the air. A fourth screen shows refugees crying behind barricades, claiming refugee status. However, with the Department of Immigration retroactively invalidating any citizenships issued during Doom's rule, hundreds of thousands of lives have been thrown into chaos. Subtitle: Pleas for mercy from stateless former citizens. A final reporter breaks in urgently. Further explosions in the capital. If you're just joining us, supporters of the deposed emperor again confronted military police in. Ticket text scrolls. Violence continues in cities around the world. The world is unraveling, and Doom is gone. Everything is breaking. Across the world, voices argue, fracture, and ignite. Every citizen with a microphone becoming a battlefield unto themselves. A man in sunglasses, shaken with anger, speaks into a cluster of cameras. These heroes robbed the world of Doom, that's all. We stand, he was actually getting things done. They rejected the good of Doom, but they had no right to do that to us. They had no right. Another voice cuts in, furious and defiant. They can attack the man, but his ideas are out there and they're not going anywhere. A young woman steps forward, eyes burning. United Latveria. Ha! The hero saved us from that preening fool. We're free again, and we never needed Doom to tell us what to do. And I'll say this much, if any Latverian is stupid enough to cross my path, I'm gonna... A calm, uninterested voice shrugs. Sorry, I don't really follow politics. Another speaker jabs a finger into the air. Venom, shot, Doom spun, giving up the world as this noble act, when really it was just him looking out for himself. Being all, you can't fire me, I quit. He lost. Get over it. Suddenly, a quiet man holding a framed picture of Valerius speaks, his voice trembling. The heroes didn't beat him. Doom gave up his world to save a single soul, his goddaughter. He's a real hero, the best of us. On the other side of the camera, the same man turns, eyes filled with fierce loyalty, and he will come back to save us and anyone who says otherwise. The world is divided. Faith and fury clash in the streets, and somewhere out there in the cosmic darkness, Doom pays the price alone. Later, in the quiet hum of a lab filled with machines and glowing monitors, Reed Richards works. His eyes fixed on a damaged piece of armor, Doom's armor. Krakoom, a swirl of emerald energy manifests, forming the spectral image of Stephen Strange. Freedom is returning to the world, you know. Old democracies are being restored. Reed pauses, expression tightening. Before he can answer, another voice cuts through the silence, cold, familiar, heavy with judgment. Victor Von Doom, standing in full armor within the shadows of the lab, replies, "And old dictatorships too, and old borders, old inequity, old suffering, old lies, old hate." Richards turns toward Doom, defensive, yet exhausted. "An interesting concept of freedom you have, Richards. We're in a worse place than we were before you. Coups, instability, expulsions." Doom steps forward, voice rising with controlled fury. "And the gulf between those who still support you and those who don't is being filled with violence and terrorism. The way you left our world, Victor, it has scars." Doom lowers his head, quietly, almost humanly. "It has scars." Doom's voice cuts through the metallic quiet of the lab, edged with accusation and ice. "You should know that Latveria without you is. Tell me, are you enjoying it? The fruits of your labor?" He extends a small device toward Reed Richards, who doesn't look up yet, only tightens his grip on his tools. A long silence. Then quietly, "I will say this." Richards finally turns, meeting Doom's glowing eyes with a painful honesty. There was, perhaps, never another man more gifted, and better suited to be a great and benevolent leader, if he chose to be, than Victor Von Doom. Doom's gauntlet pauses mid-motion. Reed continues, voice hardening. "But instead of helping people, you helped yourself. You made fascism appealing, even attractive. You sold it to good people as a reasonable option, and it destroyed all it touched, including you, Victor." Doom stands motionless, shadows swallowing his expression. Richard's voice lowers, heavy with sorrow and anger. "You sacrificed your own citizens to prop up a hollow promise of peace and prosperity. And when you were rewarded, you demanded still more sacrifice, more suffering, just to keep yourself in power. The final blow lands, and you have left our world a far worse place than you found it." The lab hums in cold, electric silence. Doom's cloak shifts, the only movement in the room, but his face, hidden behind steel, says nothing. Doom steps forward from the shadows, the green energy around him flickering like dying embers. His voice is low, unwavering. "No, I have realized the dreams of Sargon, and of Alexander and Augustus and Osman, in ways even they never could." Reed's silhouette remains motionless against the cold lab light, listening but unflinching. Doom continues, bitter and unapologetic. My only fault was to take over a world that had you and your ilk in it. A beat. I've learned that any plan for world liberation, Reed interrupts softly from the darkness, domination. But Doom shakes his head. Liberation, Richards. Liberation is destined to fail unless the initial step of the plan is to destroy you self-proclaimed heroes first. Thus, I have not lost. I have merely postponed. Reed finally snaps. You can't be— But Doom cuts him off. I did not come here to discuss philosophy. I came to make a demand of you. Reed's response is instant. Sharp. The answer's no. The room goes silent. Doom lifts his hood, revealing the rotting energy tearing through his armor and flesh. Glowing cracks spreading like wildfire. His voice breaks for the first time. It was not a request. Richards, I'm dying. Reed's face twists with fury, pain, and conflict as he glares at Doom. I won't save you, Victor. What you've done, I don't know how to forgive it. His voice breaks, not out of weakness, but out of truth. I won't save you. I need you to understand that. Doom stands silent for a moment, shrouded in darkness, the green glow flickering around his decaying form. Then calmly, of course not. You are as incapable of saving Doom, Richards, as you are of defeating him. That is not what I demand. Reed clenches his fists, frustration boiling. Whatever you're asking, the answer's still no. You've got some trick, some scheme, and Doom interrupts, voice heavy with finality. I traded my life for hers, along with my titles and my planet and my soul. She is well, Valeria. Reed hesitates, eyes softening despite himself. She is. Doom lowers his head. Then it was worth it. Reed shakes his head, refusing to believe the sincerity. You wouldn't do it selflessly. You've got some plan, Doom raises a hand sharply. Silence. I will not spend my last moments here enduring your vain, facile, endlessly effete objections. His voice cracks, not with weakness, but with the weight of everything he has lost. But Richards, and the page hangs in the air like a held breath. Panels dissolve into swirling cosmic energy. Doom's form breaking apart into green light, scattering into the void like embers fading in a storm. His final words echo through space, stripped of arrogance, stripped of power, just a plea spoken by a dying man. Take good care of my world. And with that, he's gone. Only fragments remain, his broken metal mask drifting silently through the glowing green cosmic haze. A symbol once feared across galaxies, now nothing more than debris floating in the emptiness. A king who ruled the world, reduced to dust and memory. The universe around flickers with the last fading traces of his magic, the last heartbeat of Victor Von Doom. A quiet, terrible ending, a sacrifice completed. Reed Richards lifts Doom's shattered mask, no longer a symbol of terror, but of the final sacrifice of a man who gave everything for one life. As Reed turns the metal, light reveals engraving burned into the inner surface. The final will and testament of Victor Von Doom. A message left for the entire world, inscribed to spread across every system, every book, every network, unchangeable and eternal. And as Reed reads the words, his expression freezes. Shocked, stunned, almost horrified. The truth Doom left behind isn't shown to us, but we see its impact. Reed whispers only one trembling response, and the page cuts to black. End. Quantum judgment! And that is how issue 9 concludes. An emotional and devastating finale where Victor Von Doom gives up everything. His power, his throne, his soul to save Valeria Richards. A man known as a tyrant dies a hero and leaves behind a final message powerful enough to shake the world. What did Doom's will say? What consequences are still coming? And what happens next? Now that Doom is gone, we'll find out soon. And before you go, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, because your one subscription motivates us to create more amazing videos like this. Hit like, share, and subscribe for more epic comic storytelling from Quantum Comics.